We didn't know that he could get to this point. He's a miracle.
A local man fighting for his life after contracting COVID-19 in the middle of the summer. What he's been doing to try to get back to his family. Coming up.
Test Utah is breaking records as Utahns make sure they're safe to celebrate the holidays.
I'm tracking a few chances for storms in the region. Will any of them make it to Utah? I'll let you know.
Patients growing impatient.
We've seen this before. We've seen it happen again.
After the state missed a critical deadline for Utah's medical cannabis program, one group says it's time for lawmakers to blow up the whole system.
That's all we need you to do. That's what you went to school for.
Why they say doctors can handle it from here.
80 years since the attack on Pearl Harbor, and tonight a high school marching band from Utah is playing a big role in remembering that day. How it all came together for these excited students.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Throughout the pandemic, nearly 26,000 Utahns have been hospitalized with COVID-19, 3,900 of those in intensive care.
Tonight, Fox 13's Brian Schnee spoke with the Tooele family about their loved one who's been fighting for his life for months now. It's a story you will only see here.
The family of 33-year-old Larry Barney told me that 6 of them contracted COVID-19 back in August. Larry has gotten the worst of it. He's been hospitalized ever since, with more than 90 days spent in intensive care.
Go. These moments as a family are everything.
Is that fun? What's T for? Trick or treat. Trick or treat? What's U for?
And it's now become months of these moments that have been missed for Larry Barney, his wife Chelsea, and his son Leo.
One of the first things he said when Larry had been in for a while, he said that Daddy disappeared.
Since mid-August, Larry has been in a hospital bed. Initially admitted for low oxygen levels, he's been undergoing procedures, including a tracheostomy, breathing with the help of a ventilator, all while he's been unable to speak. Larry has been fighting for his life, going round after round with his opponent, COVID-19.
It's changed all of our lives, and mostly Larry's. There's no doubt that this will affect him forever. One way or another, it'll affect him forever.
Early on, Larry wasn't alone in his battle with the virus. He and his family were unvaccinated when they contracted COVID-19.
I just got lucky. But I do wish it was me in his place instead of him. I would trade him places any day.
His mother, Louise, was hospitalized around the same time, but has since recovered, all while Larry's hopes of recovery looked grim.
There was a couple times they told us he wouldn't make it through the night.
But now, months from the start of this ordeal, with birthdays in hospitals, spent from the inside of a hospital room.
He really is a miracle. They gave him a 5% chance to live in the beginning.
Larry's health appears to be improving.
He got to sit on the edge of his bed for the first time in 3 months last Saturday. So that was a huge moment for us and him, very emotional. I hadn't seen the back of his head in 3 months, and that made me cry just to see the back of his head. And
well, there are too many possibilities to know exactly what the future may hold for Larry in terms of his recovery.
It's changed our lives, for sure. Yeah, forever. Things won't ever be the same.
At least there's hope now that he can get back to sharing those memories with his family again.
Larry has been off the ventilator and began trial now with a new medical device to get oxygen. When I spoke with his family, they told me they just want to hear his voice again. They want to hear his laugh. Now, his aunt recently shared that she spoke with Larry, who spoke back to her, telling her that he loved her and that he'd been fighting for his life. Brian Schnee, Fox 13 News, Utah.
I'm glad he's doing a little better tonight.
Yeah.
Now that the Thanksgiving weekend is over, Utah's COVID-19 testing sites are seeing long lines of cars.
As Fox 13's Emily Tenser reports, Test Utah says this holiday season is bringing the highest demand for testing since the pandemic began.
Test Utah is seeing record-breaking numbers as Utahns ensure they're safe for the holidays.
We've actually done around 9,600 tests in a day, That's the most we've ever done since the pandemic hit.
At the testing site at the Timpanogos Regional Hospital in Orem, lines of cars stretched across the parking lot all day.
So we have not seen a wait time in months. But again, with this holiday weekend and this, surge, if we would like to call it a surge, we've seen an increase.
Brittany Brown with the state health department says they saw a lull in test demand over the summer, but that picked back up again in fall.
Brown says they expect test demand to stay high this week and into next week as people start developing post-Thanksgiving COVID-19 symptoms.
As gatherings are moving indoors, we're seeing this increase in respiratory viruses that are going around, as well as maybe the new variant that's popping up. We may see, an increase in testing.
Carolina Herod with Nomi Health is glad Utahns continue to take advantage of the free service. She says Test Utah results come in just 15 minutes.
This is what we do and want to make sure that we have this available and that everyone and anyone can come and get tested.
And don't let the long lines deter you from quick answers or peace of mind.
Don't be discouraged by what appears to be a long line. It could look like there's a lot of cars, but it does move fast.
In Orem, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
As you heard from the State Health Department's testing director, Utah's medical experts are aware of and preparing for the latest mutation of the virus. Coming up at 9:30, Fox 13's Haley Higgins explains what we know so far about the Omicron variant.
We have an update now to a story we brought you over the weekend. One man is dead following a search and rescue in Zion National Park. Park officials say 31-year-old Andrew Arvig of Virginia was canyoneering on Saturday with 2 other people when they became stranded above Upper Emerald Pools. Arvig was found 20 feet below his companions who were stranded on a perch. Rescuers believe he had rappelled out of Heaps Canyon below a steep rock ledge. That's where his friends lost sight of him. Rescuers were able to get all 3 men down by Sunday. However, Arvig was later pronounced dead. The exact cause of his death is now under investigation.
Switching gears to weather now, and we're seeing more hazy skies from the inversion along the Wasatch Front. This is time-lapse of the skies tonight from the University of Utah's Department of Atmospheric Sciences. Allison, any chance we have good news heading into December?
We do have a very small storm that's going to basically brush northern Utah tomorrow. But right now, things are looking a bit more promising around December 6th to 7th, so into next week. This evening, though, not good news. Our air quality is actually a little bit worse than it was earlier this evening. Right now in the middle of the Salt Lake Valley along our I-15 corridor, from about I-80 and I-15 all the way down towards the southern interchange, Midvale, West Valley, out towards Magna. That's where our air quality right now is unhealthy for sensitive groups. And into Utah County, air is moderate, Lehigh down through Provo along I-15. And into southern Utah, we have a lot of good air. So I'm happy about that at least. Salt Lake City right now, we've got dark sky. That sun will rise about 7:30 tomorrow morning. Currently 39 degrees. Clear sky here across the state with temperatures in the 30s. As you wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be a chilly start, close to freezing. Let's talk more about air quality over the next couple of days and the timing of our next storms, if it's looking promising or like another brush by storm coming up.
Coming up on Fox 13 News at 9.
When she went into cardiac arrest, then it was just hoping and praying every second.
A Salt Lake City family is grieving after their 13-year-old daughter passes away. Why they're still looking for answers. Plus, how her classmates are honoring her life.
It's like one thing to watch it on TV, in the shows, and then it's another thing to watch it right in front of you.
A man is dead, shot and killed by Orem police. Tonight, what we're learning about the incident.
Frustration is building about who can access medical cannabis in Utah. Why one advocacy group wants to reset the way the system works.
And some local students have been chosen to perform a special task. How they're honoring those impacted by the attack on Pearl Harbor 80 years ago.
This Thanksgiving holiday was difficult for the family and friends of 13-year-old London Seeley. The Salt Lake City girl passed away 8 days ago at Primary Children's Hospital. It has left her family grieving, her friends at Clayton Middle School in mourning, and doctors wondering what took her life. I spoke with London's father for a story you'll only see here.
She was always just extremely happy and healthy and running and playing with her friends. And I mean, I would have never expected anything at all like this.
When London developed sore muscles in her neck earlier this month, then a fever, and then a sore throat, her father took her first to LDS Hospital and then to primary. She'd had COVID weeks earlier. At first, doctors thought it might be bacterial meningitis, and then MIS-C, multiple system inflammatory syndrome in children, which afflicts some children after recovering from COVID. But all the tests came back negative, and at that point, her family and friends weren't that worried.
I knew that she was in the hospital, but I didn't think that it was like that bad.
But London needed more and more oxygen to support her deteriorating lungs, and her fever came back. When they took her in for surgery to remove a lymph node for biopsy, she suffered cardiac arrest and had to be placed on life support. Then the very bad news. Her brain was swelling.
At that point, it was a worry, and they said, we need her to wake up. And they didn't. We couldn't get her to wake up, and she continued on that machine through the night. But by the next day, the doctor said that, she was gone. And so
her family couldn't believe it.
It's a shock. She should have been here. I would have thought way longer than me.
As word got out, her friends went online.
And so we made like a post about it on social media, and we sent it out, and everyone started reposting it, and it got out pretty fast.
1 week ago, many at Clayton Middle School in Salt Lake wore pink in honor of London Seeley.
And when you saw everybody wearing pink, what did that do to you in your heart?
It made me feel really like happy and like see how many people cared about her and how loved she was.
I know all of her friends and it's always fun to be around them, but to get a peek at what people say about your child when you're not around or they're not around, that's really special to see that and see the love that everyone has for her. And I mean, that's one of the greatest gifts that I'll have.
London was laid to rest in Montana over the weekend. Doctors still aren't sure what took her life.
2 Utah Valley University teams have qualified for the National Ethics Bowl in Cincinnati, Ohio this upcoming February. The Ethics Bowl is different from typical debate tournaments because students are not just scored for making powerful arguments. They're awarded points when they stop and listen to their opponents, as well as when they acknowledge another's arguments for its compelling or persuasive points. Well, today, some Utah veterans got a holiday surprise, all thanks to volunteers with the American Legion Auxiliary. Today and tomorrow, the Auxiliary will have the Veterans Gift Shop set up at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center, that's in Salt Lake City. Veterans, active military personnel, and their families all welcome to come in and pick up some winter clothing or other fun items that can be used as holiday gifts for either themselves or their family.
It helped a lot because you're trying to get by with what we make out of the pension, and it is hard to survive because everything's too expensive right now.
Okay, so. Well, the gift shop opens again tomorrow at the VA Medical Center, which is located on Foothill Drive. It runs from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We do have more information on our website. Find it at fox13now.com. 57 students from Uinta High School in Vernal are about to get a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
This week, they head to Hawaii to participate in the 80th anniversary memorial of the attack on Pearl Harbor. Fox 13's John Franke explains how getting to this point has been a years-long process.
December 7th, 1941. A date which will live in infamy.
Archived films and accounts in history books connect the students of today with a moment that is indelible in the story of America.
Because it's a part of our history.
There are memorials in Utah honoring those who made the ultimate sacrifice in World War II. Soon, students in the marching band and orchestra at Uinta High School,
it's something that they can't ever duplicate. You can't duplicate it in a classroom.
Are going to see that history and pay tribute to those who served right where those sacrifices were made.
just proud and honored to be able to perform in front of them and represent Utah.
This band is taking its act to Hawaii to remember the nation's greatest heroes.
See what people have done for us that made it able for us to get there.
Uinta High will represent our state at the Pearl Harbor Memorial, marking 80 years since that infamous day.
You don't really get so many chances to do this.
The band director and several members met with me over Zoom from Vernal as they made their final preparations for the trip, one that's been in the works since January 2019.
We've been saving up and fundraising since then.
In addition to band and schoolwork, each of these young men and women work to earn the money to pay their way.
It's finally paying off the 40-hour weeks I worked as a high schooler, and then just finally being able to go. I'm so excited.
In a few days, that work will pay off with a history lesson.
I don't think any of us alive today can possibly understand what those guys went through.
Unlike any they've received before.
To hear their stories firsthand, it gives you a little clue, a little inkling, I think, of what it is they did for us in that war.
In Salt Lake City, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
What a field trip and history lesson for those students.
They will never forget this experience.
Well, I'm sure they won't. Of course not. You know, going to Hawaii in December sounds really, really nice, Allison. Temperature-wise, we're okay, but it's the haze right now. It's not good.
And, you know, inversion season typically starts around Thanksgiving and then it lasts into the spring. So we are definitely just in the beginning of it. We have the haze out there that's going to be sticking around for quite a while. And as we look at temperatures the next couple of days, that'll remain pretty consistent. But I've got a couple of storms to talk about in the forecast. Beautiful night at Alta Albion Basin. You can get up into the mountains. That's the one great thing about those valley inversions. You get up into the mountains, get above it, and you have some really nice weather. 39 degrees here in Salt Lake City. Feels like 39, so we have very light wind right now, calm wind currently. 43 for Park City, so there's that temperatures inversion. Those are inverted temps right now. 32 for Heber, 44 for Draper currently, 40 for Lehigh. Tooele right now 28 degrees, upper 30s currently for Ogden. So bigger picture here across the state. Here's what you need to know. Temperatures very similar to today for tomorrow. Might shave a few degrees off, but overall a few additional clouds and still those cool temperatures remain. A few passing clouds over the Great Salt Lake right now, but overall, clear sky here across the state. More hazy sunshine tomorrow. Temperatures right around freezing when you first wake up tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., 8 a.m. And then by lunchtime tomorrow, our temperatures will be pretty comfortable. Overnight temperatures for a lot of you in the mid-20s for the mountains, Park City and Evanston. Logan, 26 degrees tomorrow morning, then low 30s for Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo. Now by tomorrow in the second half of the day, you're going to have those temperatures close to 50 degrees for Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo. Cache Valley, upper 40s for Park City, 62 for St. George tomorrow. And as we look at our chance for precipitation over the next several days, we'll keep it dry through the weekend and then into Sunday night, Monday day into Monday night. We're going to go from widely scattered to a chance for scattered precipitation. Now Monday's still going to be pretty mild here across the state. So initially with the storms next week that we're tracking, that's our next best chance for some storms to be of a decent size here across the region. St. George mid-60s through the weekend into early next week. You'll keep it in the 60s, the overnight temps in the 30s. Here along the Wasatch Front, Saturday, we have another weak system that brings us the chance for some light mountain snow on Saturday. Then into Monday, temperatures still close to 50. We have a chance for some rain showers turning over to a chance for some snow into Tuesday. So we are going to keep our eyes on those details. As of right now, we're bringing additional clouds in late weekend into early next week. Overnight temperatures all right around freezing. Haze over the next couple of days. So coming up, let's look at your air quality forecast for the next few days and also some more details on the timing and the strength of that system next week.
Thanks, Allison. Ahead on Fox 13 News at 9, will Tiger Woods ever return to playing golf? What the legendary golfer has to say about that after that terrifying car crash earlier this year. In national news, the trial against former Empire star Jussie Smollett began today.
The actor was silent as he walked into a Chicago courthouse. He's on trial for lying to police about an alleged attack that shocked the nation. In January of 2019, Smollett said he was assaulted by two men who shouted racist and homophobic slurs and placed a noose around his neck. The 39-year-old actor has repeatedly denied he was behind the assault. However, if convicted, Smollett faces up to 3 years in prison.
Legendary golfer Tiger Woods says he may never make a full-time return to the sport after a horrifying car crash back in February. Woods told Golf Digest in an interview published today that any return to the PGA Tour will likely be part-time. Woods also admitted that the chance of his right leg needing to be amputated was a real possibility. Miraculously, it did not happen. Woods says now his priorities are his health and his children.
Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen set to testify before a House subcommittee Wednesday who plans on discussing possible changes to the laws governing tech companies. This comes after Haugen leaked what have been called the Facebook papers to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Haugen has already told senators she believes Facebook harms children, stokes division, and weakens our democracy. Facebook claims the documents leaked provide a skewed image of the company.
This might be hard to believe, but Canada has a maple syrup shortage. The trade group Quebec Maple Syrup Producers is tapping into its reserves to deal with it. Quebec produces about 73% of all maple syrup in the world. Sales rose 21% this year, leading to the shortage.
Coming up after the break.
A new COVID variant has the world on edge tonight.
We don't know exactly where it originated, but we do know that it has a lot of mutations.
What Utah doctors say about when it might spread here and why it's so concerning.
A police shooting leaves one man dead in Orem.
The cops are trying to talk down this guy, and they gave him multiple chances.
Coming up, what one woman says she saw unfold from inside her bedroom.
After more delays, one medical cannabis group wants lawmakers to just blow up the whole system.
It's conference championship week in college football. Coming up, we'll hear from the Utes and Aggies as they get ready to chase conference championship titles.
And we'll fight this variant with scientific and knowledgeable actions and speed, not chaos and confusion.
Tonight, President Joe Biden says the new COVID-19 variant is cause for concern, but not panic.
The Omicron variant has not been detected yet in the U.S., but doctors and scientists are concerned because it has 10 different mutations. The Delta variant has just 2.
Fox 13's Haley Higgins has an in-depth look at what doctors in Utah are saying.
We don't know exactly where it originated, but we do know that it has a lot of mutations.
Discovered just last week in South Africa, doctors and scientists are looking to see if the new variant is more contagious, stronger, and if it can evade COVID-19 vaccines.
We're certainly not panicking, but I think we've learned enough from this pandemic over the last 20 months not to take anything lightly.
The variant has been found in 16 countries, including Canada.
It's probably a given that it will soon appear here if it hasn't already started circulating in the United States.
What makes the Omicron variant so concerning? An extremely large number of mutations involving the spike protein. That allows the virus to infect our cells and make us sick. The mutations could mean Omicron is more contagious and could even bypass the antibodies created by the COVID-19 vaccines.
That's what the vaccine is directed against. So changes in the spike protein could lead to decreased efficacy of vaccine.
Right now, the Utah Department of Health sequences 10% of the positive cases, and right now nearly all are Delta variant. The possibility of Omicron in Utah could further strain hospitals.
It's really concerning from the hospital aspect. If we do get an even more transmissible, even more severe virus, it's really going to overwhelm our healthcare system.
While the variant could change, doctors say the way to fight it has not. It's important to get vaccinated, they say, fully vaccinated. That includes a booster if possible. Also, be sure to wear a mask while you're indoors in public and get tested if you have symptoms. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
They were just yelling and yelling and yelling, and then and then all of a sudden I hear bang, 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 and right across the road in the driveway right there, the guy was down.
A neighbor there describing what she saw during a police shooting in Orem that left one man dead. Police are still not releasing the name of that man tonight.
But we are getting new perspective on this tragedy. Fox 13's Eliana Sheriff spoke to a woman who saw the whole thing from her bedroom window.
It's like one thing to watch it on TV, you know, in the shows, and then it's another thing to watch it right in front of you. So, yeah, it was definitely not what I expected to see last night.
Mackenzie Castle first heard the commotion just before 11 p.m. Sunday.
The cops were trying to talk down this guy, and I mean, they gave him multiple chances.
And then witnessed the gunfire.
I mean, there wasn't much more than swearing, so he just seemed really angry. Most of what I heard was just put the knife down.
With the entire scene unfolding from her front yard. When police responded to this domestic violence call, they found a 68-year-old man, the suspect's father, with his neck cut. They located the 41-year-old son nearby and tried to get him to drop the knife.
He was non-compliant with the officers, and at least one of them fired on him.
The 41-year-old suspect died on the scene. Mackenzie didn't know the suspect involved, but she did notice how quickly the situation turned from officers trying to talk him down to first responders trying to save his life.
There's body cam of the incident. We're fully cooperating with the critical incident team. That all of our evidence will be given to them.
Lieutenant Thomas says domestic violence calls are the most dangerous call officers respond to.
They're very volatile because people's emotions are very heightened. And usually someone is going to go to jail or get in trouble, so they don't want that.
And about 20 officers responded. No officers were injured. Those involved have been placed on administrative leave per standard protocol and will receive a mental health assessment. The Utah County officer-involved critical incident team will now be handling this investigation. In Orem, Eliana Sheriff, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The 68-year-old victim, the suspect's father, was taken to the hospital with neck wounds. He has since been released.
Right now, police in Sandy say they need your help identifying a robber. Officers say a man recorded on surveillance cameras robbed the Sandy Stop gas station at gunpoint last Thursday. They say the suspect has multiple distinguishable hand tattoos. Take a look on your screen. If you recognize them or the man they belong to, call Sandy Police.
Investigators are looking into what caused a trailer fire near Garland this morning in Box Elder County. Crews from Garland and Tremonton responded. Flames from the trailer were threatening a house. Crews say quick-thinking neighbors moved the trailer away from the house before they got there. A quick attack on the flames prevented further damage to the house. Nobody was hurt.
Utah's Haugen Zoo has a new tiger. What makes this one different from others you may have seen?
And coming up, I'm tracking some poor air quality here along the Wasatch Front. Coming up, our next chance for storms and also your air quality forecast.
We have an update to a Fox 13 News investigation we brought you last week. A missed deadline for Utah's medical cannabis has one group calling on lawmakers to roll back the entire thing.
Bob, they say cannabis should be more accessible to patients all around the state. Fox 13's Ben Winslow has more.
Utah's medical cannabis program was supposed to expand in September. That's when healthcare providers across the state would be able to recommend cannabis to any qualifying patient. But as Fox 13 reported last week, the Department of Health was unable to meet a critical deadline. The agency says because of staffing and software issues, they can't launch it. And it may be July of 2022 before they do.
We've seen this before. We've seen it happen again.
Christine Stenquist with Together for Responsible Use in Cannabis Education says the idea of only having certain certain qualified physicians recommending cannabis has created a system where they can charge big bucks to desperate patients just to be legal with the state.
We have patients who are dealing with multiple renewals on cards and a patient cap, which is breeding ground for predatory practices in this space. And we have to be very mindful about that.
She says it's time lawmakers blow up the entire cannabis program in Utah, including eliminating patient caps.
Just level the playing field a little bit and say, docs, all we need you to do is verify that your patient has MS or epilepsy or Parkinson's or migraines or chronic pain. That's all we need you to do. That's what you went to school for, and we trust your opinion on that matter. The rest of it can be handled in the dispensary.
In a joint statement to Fox 13, the Senate Majority Leader and the Minority Whip, who are both running cannabis bills, say that while they consider any modifications to the program, Utah's current system maintains safety and an orderly patient process. On the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
You may have noticed the wreath around the neck of that lion, or that whatever that was, statue behind Ben. Well, Utah's Capitol Hill is getting into the holiday spirit. Capitol Christmas tree is being put up in the rotunda outside the Senate chambers. The two-story tree actually has to be put up in stages. This year, you can also visit Capitol Hill to see school choirs perform.
And a lot of the schools will come and they have costumes on, and some will do period clothing to go with whatever style of music they're going to have. And it just brings a timelessness to the area. It's magical. It really is.
And the acoustics are great. And there's that wreath around the lion's neck. Last night, the Capitol hosted the lighting of a menorah for Hanukkah.
And that's not all. Today, school children from the Wallace Stegner Academy helped Governor Spencer Cox and First Lady Abby Cox get ready for the holidays.
Everybody that comes to the mansion this Christmas season, they are going to see that you guys were the ones that decorated the tree.
That's awesome. Isn't that cool? Oh, beautiful. The children helped decorate a Christmas tree right inside the governor's mansion. The historic mansion will be reopened to school tours beginning next month.
We love having children here. This was just such a fun time. As a former educator, this is what we love. We love to share this history with the children of the state. This belongs to the state, and we want to make sure that they have access to it.
Oh, it is a beautiful home. This year's decoration theme is more traditional fitting of the historic nature of the governor's mansion.
What kinds of products have Utahns searched for leading up to Cyber Monday? We'll tell you if our neighbors are bigger fans of slippers or lingerie.
Taysom Hill fans may be happy watching Thursday Night Football here on Fox 13. I'll tell you why coming up in sports. And the Jazz taking on the Trailblazers tonight. And Donovan Mitchell had one of these moments. The highlights are on the way.
Welcome back, everyone. So glad you can join us for Fox 13 News at 9. I hope you're coming off a wonderful holiday weekend. It always goes by so quickly, doesn't it?
It does go by so quickly, as do the leftovers.
That's true. You had a big plate tonight. They look good. Weather outside, not the best, maybe. We have a big, heavy inversion moving into the valleys.
He's out there tonight.
It's thick. Fox 13 meteorologist Allison Krogan will have your first alert forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
You know, no two Utahns will shop in exactly the same way, whether it's online or in a store.
That's right. Still, though, we decided to see what kind of products Utahns have searched for in the last month leading up to the big holiday shopping season. Fox 13's Max Roth shows us in this in-depth report.
There are some things Utah searches out far more than people in any other state. For example, Utahns searched for Justin Bieber more than residents of any other state, but we were 44th in searching for Adele.
The National Retail Federation surveyed shoppers and estimated almost 63 million Americans would shop Cyber Monday, a bit more than half the population of Black Friday shoppers. A lot of retailers suggest slippers make nice gifts, but Utahns couldn't care less. Literally, 50 states and the District of Columbia did more slipper searches in the last month. But Utahns were 10th in searching for lingerie and 9th for pajamas. Utahns were 25th in searching for PlayStation 5s, but 6th for the Nintendo Switch. Utahns searched 45th for cocktails, but 3rd for sodas. And 34th searching for Barbies, but 1st for Lego. Other firsts for Utah. Utahns searched more for Harry Potter, more for the Nutcracker, and more for mountain bikes than people in any other state.
Another distinctive for Utah, the most searches for seasonal work. Data from the state also shows Utahns tend to take seasonal jobs more than residents of most states. In the newsroom, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Interesting. Utah is home to a new big cat. Meet Sasha, a 2-year-old Amur tiger. She's moving into the Asian Highlands exhibit right at Haugen Zoo from the Rolling Hills Zoo in Kansas. Her keepers hope when Sasha is mature, she'll be able to breed with Nikolai, Haugen Zoo's 11-year-old Amur tiger.
Well, the TSA's annual canine calendar came out today. One of the featured dogs works at Salt Lake International Airport. He is a 5-year-old German short-haired pointer named Marty. Hi, Marty. Yep. He's Mr. March, by the way. TSA says Marty is highly trained to conduct a real-time threat assessment of travelers going through the security checkpoints. Do not pet Marty. That's what the sign says, and signs don't lie. The 2022 calendar is available online right now for free. We have a link to it at fox13now.com. Good boy, Marty.
Yes, congratulations to him. Very good boy. Air quality, not the best. I know a lot of us want to get outside and enjoy these comfortable temperatures as we wrap up November, head into December. You want to get outside with your dogs. I know what I do too, but this air quality, if you've got asthma problems, especially in the Layton area, that's where our air quality is quite a bit worse out towards Syracuse. And then across the Salt Lake Valley, it's quite a bit worse than it was earlier this evening. And the area that I'm seeing the biggest problem right now is right along our I-15 corridor. So from about Rose Park down through Midvale out towards West Valley and Magna. Once you're close to the East Bench, I-215 on the east side of the valley up towards Parley's Canyon, Foothill Drive, air quality is a little bit better, but Park City, this is the time of year where you want to get up into the mountains, do some skiing, do some hiking, or just get up there and enjoy the blue sky. Down into Utah County near Provo and Orem and Lehigh, air quality is currently moderate. Southern Utah, we do have good air quality. For Tuesday and Wednesday for Salt Lake County, here's what you need to know. Moderate air quality will continue. A shallow cold front is moving through the area tonight, so temperatures tomorrow will shave just a few degrees off, and then we'll have some patchy clouds heading into your Tuesday. But 55 degrees was our high today, a normal high 44 degrees. Our sun will rise tomorrow about 7:30, and it's set tonight at 5:01. So tomorrow, right at 5 o'clock on the dot, we're going to have that sunset. Current temperatures, a lot of us in the upper 30s for Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo. Logan, same thing. Mid-30s for Price, 29 for Vernal. 36 currently for Moab and 52 for St. George. Wasatch Front through the evening will keep our temperatures into the low 30s by 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. And as you wake up, those temperatures right around freezing, 6 a.m., 8 a.m., and by 10 o'clock in the morning, we are close to 40 degrees here in Salt Lake City. Satellite and radar this evening, we're going to see a few patchy clouds streaming through northern Utah. We've got a system that's going to brush by, and we're going to have those temps just a little bit cooler for tomorrow, but mostly clear skies still for many of you. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, right around 30 to 35 degrees for Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo. And then for tomorrow afternoon, our temperatures will be close to about 50 degrees for Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo. Upper 40s for Logan, Vernal, Park City, mid-50s for Price tomorrow, and for St. George into the mid-60s. Let's talk about Futurecast, because what we're going to see is additional clouds at times over the next couple of days. By Saturday, 3 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have the chance for some snow up into Wyoming. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of light snow for the mountains here across northern Utah, but overall, our next best chance for a bigger, more widespread storm will be Monday night into Tuesday next week. So for St. George, the next 7 days, you've got temperatures in the upper 60s through Wednesday, mid to low 60s Thursday through the weekend, partly cloudy by next Monday. And here along the Wasatch Front, here's your 10-day forecast. A lot of numbers on the screen, but a lot of good info for you. We're into the mid-40s by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. Until then, we're in the 50s.
The Utah Jazz back in action tonight against the Portland Trailblazers at home. The Jazz found Rudy Gobert, the big guy, often inside, and he knows how to finish near the rim. rocks it down there at 21 points and 60 rebounds. Some defense now. The steal leads to the 2-on-1 break. Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic run it to perfection. 13 points for Bogey. Then he gets it to Mitchell in the third quarter. 3 is good. 30 assists for the Jazz. Here's another steal from Mitchell. Leads to the play of the game. Mitchell takes it all the way for the throwdown. Enjoy this. He doesn't dunk as much anymore, so we had to take another look. He finished with 30 points. Here's Rudy Gay. 3 is good. He had 14 points. And then it's Jordan Clarkson capping it off in the fourth. 3 of his 22 points. Smiles on everyone after this game. The Jazz won it 129-107 to improve to 14-7. 14th ranked Utah will take on number 10 Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game. This is the third championship game in 4 years for Utah, the last 4 years. But they've never won the title. The Utes beat the Ducks by 31 points just 9 days ago, so they expect a motivated Oregon team on Friday.
We just got to take care of ourselves. We can't control their mentality, what they're going to come in with. But if we have that same mentality that we had the first time around, and that same look in their eye, and that same determination, and that same attitude of not to be denied, then we got a good chance. That's our focus, is how we approach the game. You know, I'm sure they're going to be in a pretty good mindset as well. I mean, it's a big game.
The Ducks and Utes play Friday in Las Vegas for the Pac-12 championship and a spot in the Rose Bowl. After winning just one game last year, the Aggies have been one of the best turnaround stories in the country, winning 9 games and reaching the Mountain West championship game where they'll face 21st ranked San Diego State. It's been an incredible season, but they want more.
I'm not sure anybody expected us to be here, but our guys are excited, as am I. We don't want to be satisfied with being there. We want to find a way to win it. But these opportunities are rare, and considering what we've come through and what has happened here the last year and a half, 2 years, we feel very fortunate to be in this game. We want to maximize every ounce of it and find a way to win this game.
The Aggies and Aztecs play for the Mountain West Championship on Saturday in Carson, California. And you can watch the game right here on Fox 13. Kickoff set for 1 o'clock. Taysom Hill was taking first-team reps at quarterback for the Saints today, which means he'll likely get a lot of playing action, the former BYU Cougar, when they play Thursday against the Dallas Cowboys. That game also on Fox 13.
He's going to make a lot more money if he keeps playing that position.
$40 to $90 million every snap he gets. Yeah.
Wow. It's a good time for a lot of our Utah teams and players.
Yeah, good night for the Jazz.
Yeah.
I like that shot at the end, Connor.
Oh, yeah.
I know. You should hear Bob analyzing the plays as you're giving them. It's great.
Yes.
He adds the color commentary here.
Surround sound.
I love it. We'll be right back.
Here's another sign that the holiday season is getting into gear. Tonight was the lighting ceremony of the Tree of Life.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
In Draper. That's right, Draper City Park. Takes 65,000 lights to decorate the park each year. You can see the lights at 125th South.
Crowning
13th
jewel
East.
right there.
That's right. It's going to be up through the holidays.
I feel like when we see that video, we all need to go, ah! It's so pretty. Stick around. Quick Cast is next.